All right, let's go back to the spin room where Caitlin and Ed are standing by with Senator Kamala Harris. Caitlin?
Hi, yes. Okay, we are here with Senator Kamala Harris. So, in the first debate, you had some tough words for Joe Biden. This debate, you seem to take a little bit of a different approach. You seem to be having some fun up there. Was there a strategy shift?
No, I mean, we had a difference of opinion, which obviously we discussed during the first debate. But honestly, the whole campaign for me, and the reason I jumped in is because I strongly believe Donald Trump should no longer be president of the United States. And so a big part of my focus was on that and what we need to do to focus on the fact that on so many issues from health care to foreign policy, he is frankly inept. And we should point out for the American people why there is a better way. For me, tonight was also about saying that in that fight to unseat him, we also have to understand that the vast majority of us as Americans have so much more in common than what separates us. And part of my goal is to really make clear that we have to unify not only the party but the country, and I intend to do that.
Healthy exchanges on health care, gun control, immigration. Was there something you wish you had had a chance to sort of jump in on that they didn't call you for?
Yeah, a few things, actually.
Like what?
Immigration. Listen, I have worked on this for years. I strongly believe that we not only need to pass comprehensive immigration reform with a pathway towards citizenship, but we also have to recognize the fact that this president has just vilified immigrants since his campaign for presidency and up until the time he's been in office, including putting babies in cages and separating children from their parents at the border. But also, look, just recently, he's going to invite the Taliban to hang out at Camp David. But yet, I watched this young man who was a father in the Bahamas who was trying to get on a ferry with his toddler, and he's been denied entry into our country. So the issue of immigration, I would have liked to have talked a lot more about what we need to do to treat and serve all Americans. We have not talked not nearly enough about rural America, and that's something I hope we would talk about. Veterans, I really wanted to get into that conversation for a number of reasons, including that I've worked on veterans issues for a long time in my career. California has the largest number of veterans of any state. But also, having met with some folks recently, one of the issues that is the biggest challenge for our veterans is 20 veterans a day in the United States die of suicide.
Right.
And we are not taking care of them. They do us such great service when they serve, and they come back, and we don't know their names.
Go ahead, Gary.
Senator, an issue that didn't come up tonight either was the issue of women's health care.
I know.
Why?
I don't know. It's shocking and disappointing, and I tweeted about it right away. It is one of the number one issues affecting women and their families, meaning everyone in America. And right now, women's health care, and in particular women's access to reproductive health care, is under attack. In states like Alabama that are passing, those legislatures passing laws that would criminalize a physician who assists with a woman's exercise of choice. So I don't know why it didn't come up, and obviously there are a lot of other issues that hopefully will come up during the next debate, but this was an oversight.
Do you think Democrats are doing enough to make this a voting issue for Democratic voters, because it traditionally has been one for Republicans?
I certainly am. And I know that when I am traveling this country, be it in Iowa or Nevada or Michigan or you name the place, women of every generation, race, geographic location know this to be one of their core issues, and the families who love them know it to be one of their core issues.
I got two more for you. You're on the Judiciary Committee.
Yep.
We had a bit of a health scare during your Senate recess with Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who's planning to be back on the bench when they reconvene. The last election, the eventual Republican nominee put together a list of potential nominees for the High Court. Would you consider doing that?
I got to get elected first, so let me just do that, and then we can talk about it.
You're going to elected president, so you would not release a list of potential nominees.
As a nominee, that's what I mean, though. Let me get the nomination, and then I'll talk about that. But why
do Democrats resist doing that, though? Because it's a galvanizing issue for Republicans. Why not for Democrats too, especially given all the concerns you all have about it?
But I would disagree in that Democrats know that one of the most important consequences of who is president of the United States is who sits on the United States Supreme Court. I know this, that if the United States Supreme Court hadn't decided Brown v. Board of Education, I would not be standing here right now in this interview. So I know that Democrats care deeply about who sits on that court, and frankly that and I know it through the hearings that I've been involved in for a Supreme Court nominee, that also there's a real crisis of confidence among Democrats and many Americans in the court. So it is one of the biggest issues that we could be concerned with, and I think we're all care a lot about it and think a lot about it.
So TBD dependent on getting the nomination?
Yes.
Okay, one other. We noticed something in our Battleground Tracker poll over the weekend. Really interesting data point, because we go back and we re-interview the people we talked to over the summer. Found that 29% of the people who were supporting you have switched their allegiance to Elizabeth Warren. Why do you think that's happened?
Well, I'm not a pundit, so I can't speculate, but I will say this.
Would you like them back?
Oh, well, of course I would. Of course I would. I also know people who have been supporting other candidates are coming to me. I know that people who support her are coming to me. So this is what's going to happen. We are at that stage of the campaign. And the bottom line for me is that I got to get out there and earn the vote of everybody, and I'm not going to assume people are going to come to me without me earning their vote.
Good to see you, Senator. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Happy anniversary.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. You had to do that. All right. Elaine, back to you.
Oh, I feel remiss now. Okay, thank you, Ed, and happy anniversary. Let's bring back our panel.